Hello everybody, and welcome to my 200 subscriber special. In case you're wondering why I'm using a text-to-speech translator instead of speaking, it's just that I get nervous when recording and I don't want outside noises to interrupt me speaking. Anyway, back to the subject of this video. I am currently working on my retrospective on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, which will likely take quite a while to write, record and edit. However, while working on the video, I've just noticed that I've now hit 200 subscribers. First of all, a huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channel, and secondly, to celebrate, I'm going to be making a video that I've wanted to make for quite a while, my top 10 favorite Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics. As you might have guessed from the videos on my channel, I am a massive fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, and one of my favorite aspects of the franchise is the animatronics. Reasons for why I like each animatronic vary, whether it be because of the designs, voices, if they have one, behaviors, or lore relevance. In this video, I am going to be going through 10 of my favorite animatronics from across the franchise. Before we get into the countdown, I would like to go through a few rules. First of all, candidates can be from any game in the franchise, although there aren't any characters from Five Nights at Freddy's world on this list. Secondly, ties are allowed on this list, although only a maximum of 3 animatronics can share a spot. As a spoiler warning, there is going to be only one 3-way tie on this list. Thirdly, characters who technically aren't animatronics can still be on the list, as long as they still hold a significant purpose. For example, characters like Helpy, Glitch Trap Phone Guy, Old Man Consequences, or the Plush Babies can still be on the list even though they are not animatronics. Fourthly, my decisions will be based on how much I like an animatronic's design, mechanics, and backstory. And finally, this list is based on my own opinions. If you would like to, you are free to share your top 10 favorite animatronics in the comments section. With the rules established, let's get on to the countdown. For number 10, I have chosen Withered Chica. Withered Chica is my favorite version of Chica and my favorite Withered animatronic because I think that she has a very scary design, with her hands ripped off reveal long wires protruding from her wrist, her eyes sunken into her head, and her broken, unhinged jaw. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I thought that she looked very scary with her arms stretched out in every room that she visited, even though I thought that her jump scare was the weakest in the game. Withered Chica's place on this list was cemented by her appearance in Ultimate Custom Night. I like her mechanic of getting stuck in the vent, which can help block out other animatronics even though she can eventually free herself and jump scare you. It sort of acts like a game of chance, just like Rockstar Foxy. However, my favorite aspect about Withered Chica in UCN was her voice. Even though it can be very hard to understand, I really like how her voice has very loud echoing effects because of how broken she is, and her voice lines revealed that she may have been the first victim of William Afton, which makes Withered Chica a lot more interesting.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
As for her appearance in Help Wanted, I thought that she, along with the other Withered animatronics, was utilized well in the FNAF 2 remake and in the Trick or Treat stage in Curse of Dreadbear. Those are all of my opinions on Withered Chica, so let's move on to number 9. For number 9, I have chosen the face of the franchise, Freddy Fazbear himself. Freddy is my favorite animatronic in the first game, because of how he confuses and teases the night guard. I like how he is the one who greets you when the power goes out by playing his music box while his eyes flicker. Speaking of his music box, I think that after Five Nights at Freddy's was released, the Toreador March has pretty much become the official You're Screwed theme. I swear, if you were to put this music over any situation where a person seems screwed, it wouldn't stick out at all. I also really like how he doesn't leave the stage for the first 2 nights but later becomes active from night 3 onwards. While Freddy is active, we can see how much smarter he is than the other animatronics because he keeps himself hidden in the shadows, and when he gets into the office, he hides behind you and then jump scares you at random. Other aspects of Freddy that I like are the hints that he caused the bite of 87 and the hints that the spirit possessing him is female. The hints include that he has 2 large handprints across his face, that the rules for safety warn patrons not to touch him, and that his laugh is a slowed down version of a little girl's laugh. Speaking of Freddy's laugh, I think that it is very creepy and it certainly increases the tension as he gets closer to you. As for his appearances after the first game, I really liked his return appearances in Ultimate Custom Night, Help Wanted, and Special Delivery, as he is still a menacing presence in all of those games, especially in Special Delivery, where we finally get to hear his voice.
It looks like someone wasn't ready for Freddy to come to the party.
Which I think strikes a very good balance between jolly and threatening. Those are all of my opinions on Freddy Fazbear, so let's move on to number 8. For number 8, I have chosen Nightmare Fredbear. Originally, I was going to put Golden Freddy on this list, but I eventually decided to choose Nightmare Fredbear for number 8. I think that Nightmare Fredbear might be the scariest animatronic in the franchise, next to Nightmarionne, because of his sharp, blood-stained teeth, his large claws, and the teeth within his stomach. Even though I am quite bad at Five Nights at Freddy's 4, I really like Night 5 because of how Nightmare Fredbear's behavior is a mash-up of all of the other Nightmare animatronics' behaviors, making him seem like the final boss of the game. His laugh sounds very creepy, possibly mirroring the older brother from the minigames, and his head looks very scary when it is on the bed. However, Nightmare Fredbear's spot on this list was cemented by his voice in Ultimate Custom Night. His voice may just be my favorite new voice in that game, because it sounds very appropriate for a very hellish and demonic animatronic.
Let's see how many times you can be pulled apart.
It's honestly a shame that his voice wasn't reused in Help Wanted. Speaking of Help Wanted, I really enjoyed the recreation of Night 5 of FNAF 4, even though there is a glitch that will cause you to instantly die whenever Nightmare Fredbear enters a closet. Those are all of my opinions on Nightmare Fredbear, so let's move on to number 7. For number 7, I have chosen Funtime Foxy. As a spoiler warning, there will be quite a few more sister location animatronics on this list. To be honest, if I was just referring to his role in sister location, then Funtime Foxy wouldn't even be on this list. Although his design looks very good, I felt that he was quite forgettable in that game, as he was the only main animatronic without a voice and getting past him wasn't too hard. Also, in the custom night, his behavior was literally just Foxy's FNAF 1 behavior but recycled. However, I did find his jump scares to be quite scary, especially during Night 3 when he jumps out at you from the darkness. So, originally I didn't like Funtime Foxy too much, but that quickly changed when he appeared in Ultimate Custom Night. Although his showtime mechanic could be difficult to deal with, I thought that it was a very clever spin on the Pirate's Cove type mechanics. I said that Nightmare Fredbear had my favorite UCN voice, but Funtime Foxy was a very close second. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting Funtime Foxy to sound like, but I found it funny how he has this very loud, booming, announcer-like voice.
I'm sorry, but there was never enough room on this stage for both of us.
Funtime Fox's section from Night 3 of Sister Location was brought back in Help Wanted, and I think that the recreation is a lot scarier than the original. Those are all of my opinions on Funtime Foxy, so let's move on to number 6. For number 6, I have chosen Plushtrap. Although Plushtrap definitely has the least exaggerated design of the Nightmare animatronics, I still find him to be quite scary because he is essentially a plush toy coming to life to kill you. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, he can be quite helpful because, if you beat his minigame, you'll get to skip the first 2 hours of the next night. I was disappointed when Plushtrap was initially not included in Ultimate Custom Night, but he would thankfully be included in Dee Dee's secret roster. I really liked Plushtrap's behavior and jump scare in UCN. The recreation of fun with Plushtrap in Help Wanted was very spot on, and I'm looking forward to his inclusion in Special Delivery. I'm surprised that he wasn't in the game when it was first released because he was prominently featured in the marketing, but he has been confirmed to be coming to the game soon, and I hope that he gets a voice when he does. Those are all of my opinions on Plushtrap, so let's move on to number 5. For number 5, I have chosen Ennard. The concept of Ennard is very interesting. He is an amalgamation of the 5 main Funtime animatronics: Baby, Laura, Funtime Freddy, Bon Bon, and Funtime Foxy. I think that Ennard's design looks very scary since his body is made up of a mess of wires. He has eyes from the other animatronics across his body, and his clown mask looks very creepy. I thought that it was very tense during Night 5 of Sister Location when you have to enter the code into Baby perfectly or an unmasked Ennard will attack you. I think that both endings of Sister Location make Ennard very threatening. In the real ending, he scoops out Michael Afton's innards and uses his corpse to masquerade as a human, and in the fake ending, you have to fend him off in the private room, in a typical Five Nights at Freddy's fashion. Ennard was also very creepy in Pizzeria Simulator, where Funtime Freddy takes control of him and he becomes Molten Freddy, trading his clown mask for a rusty Freddy mask. As for Ennard's other appearances, he unfortunately had one of the worst jump scares in Ultimate Custom Night, but his vent repair stage in Help Wanted was very creepy and tense. I think that the Blacklight version may be a recreation of when Ennard kills the 2 technicians in between Nights 4 and 5 of Sister Location, since Ennard will always leap towards you at the end. Speaking of that moment, it honestly really terrified me out the first time that I witnessed it. Those are all of my opinions on Ennard, so let's move on to number 4. For number 4, I have chosen Baby. I really enjoyed Baby's role in Sister Location because she appears to be an ally at first but is later revealed to have been manipulating you so that she and the other animatronics can use your body to escape the facility. The backstory of Baby is also very well hinted at and is very tragic. She was created by William Afton, the killer of the children who would possess the FNAF1 animatronics, but she would end up killing his daughter, Elizabeth Afton, who would later go on to possess her. The continuation of Baby's story in Pizzeria Simulator was also very good, as she was ejected from Ennard, but would repair herself as Scrap Baby, who I think has a very terrifying appearance. It was also revealed that the soul of Elizabeth Afton had become corrupted after decades of possessing Baby, and wanted to be a killer like her father.
Now we can do what we were created to do, and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy.
Only for William's former business partner Henry to burn down the pizzeria and free all of the souls, including Baby's. I think that the voice of Baby is very well done, as she sounds very innocent yet creepy.
Soon, you will be as broken as I am.
As for Baby's other appearances, I like how she was finally able to be a threat in Ultimate Custom Night, Help Wanted, and Special Delivery. I especially liked her night terrors stage in Help Wanted, where you have to hide from her in the closet. Those are all of my opinions on Baby, so let's move on to number 3. For number 3, I have chosen Springtrap. I thought that he was terrifying in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 because he was our introduction to William Afton, the killer of the 5 missing children who had possessed the animatronics. The backstory of Springtrap is very morbid and interesting, as William Afton was cornered by the souls of his victims and forced into Springtrap's suit, which resulted in the suit's endoskeleton snapping back into place and gutting Afton to death, only for his soul to possess Springtrap 3 decades later. Even though he was very easy to deal with in that game, I thought that his jump scares were somewhat decent due to the mixture of curiosity and menace on his face as he attacks. I like how, similar to Freddy, Springtrap tries to keep himself hidden on the cameras, and he looks very threatening when he stares through the office window at you. I think that the scariest part of Springtrap is that he is carrying William Afton's corpse inside of him, as seen in the rare boot screens. If you brighten up the newspaper that declares that Fazbear's Fright had burned down, you can see Springtrap staring at the Freddy figurine, which hinted that he had survived the fire. This would later be confirmed in Sister Location and Pizzeria Simulator, the latter game showing him in an even more damaged state known as Scraptrap. I know that a lot of people cannot stand Scraptrap's design, but I honestly really like it. In Pizzeria Simulator and Special Delivery, we can hear Springtrap's voice, which I think suits him very well as it sounds very calm yet menacing.
Hide if you want. It did not save the others. It will not save you.
As for the FNAF 3 recreation in Help Wanted, I think that it looks terrifying to see Springtrap crawling down the vents towards you. Those are all of my opinions on Springtrap, so let's move on to number 2. For number 2, we have the three-way tie that I alluded to earlier. The tie is between Funtime Freddy, Bonbon and Bonnet. All three of them are in the same spot because I like all three of them equally, and I think that they work very well as a trio. As for the designs, Funtime Freddy may have my favorite Freddy design, next to Lefty, as I like the combination of white and purple used for him. As for Bonbon and Bonnet, I think that they have the cutest designs out of all of the other small animatronics, as they are animatronic hand puppet versions of Bonnie. I really like the color schemes, as they have very light shades of blue and pink. As for voices and personalities, I really like Funtime Freddy's crazy, psychotic entertainer personality.
Hey, boy, I think that's the birthday boy over there. We should go give him a surprise.
And I think the Bonbon's much calmer demeanor makes him a very good foil for his hand puppeteer.
You must be hearing things, silly.
As for Bonnet, while she has only one line of dialogue from an unknown voice actress,
Take me with you?
I like how it reveals that she may be very clingy and desperate to find a hand puppeteer. Her and Bonbon's laughs are also very cute. I really enjoyed Funtime Freddy's section of Night 2 in Sister Location, where you have to restore the facility's power while trying to get Bonbon to calm Funtime Freddy down. Bonbon's section of Night 3 was also very enjoyable, since you have to lure him out into the open in order to press his button to deactivate him. Funtime Freddy and Bonbon would also appear in the custom night, and I thought that the mechanic of Funtime Freddy sending Bonbon to attack you from the closets was very creative. The custom night was where we were also introduced to Bonnet. I hear a lot of people say that Bonnet, like Electrobab and Mini-Arena 2, was a waste of a character slot in the custom night. I would agree that Electrobab and Mini-Arena 2 were a waste, but I would disagree for Bonnet because, even if Baby and Ennard were included, there would still be a slot left over, so Scott Cawthon would have had to come up with a new character anyway. Also, at least Bonnet was actually continually used after the custom night. I thought that Bonnet was a good addition to the custom night, as you have to press on her nose to deactivate her, a mechanic that would be brought back for her appearance in Ultimate Custom Night. I was happy that Bonnet made it into the game, but I was disappointed that Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon didn't make it in, aside from cameos in the sister location office. However, they, along with Bonnet, would be brought together for Night Terrors in Help Wanted. Even though I had a hard time completing the stage, I really enjoyed it because of how all three animatronics are involved. Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon come from the hallways, while Bonnet continually pops out of the drawers and closet. Funtime Freddy has been confirmed to be coming to special delivery at some point, which I am really looking forward to. I really hope that Bon Bon and Bonnet are included as well. It would be very interesting if Funtime Freddy had two different skins, one where Bon Bon is on his arm, and another where Bonnet is on his arm. Judging by how much I've said about the trio, you may be wondering why I didn't put him in the number 1 spot, but that's because there was just one animatronic who just barely beat him to the spot. Those are all of my opinions on Funtime Freddy, Bon Bon and Bonnet, so let's move on to number 1. But before we get to number 1, I would like to cover a few honorable mentions. This list was very hard to make since I like a lot of the FNAF animatronics, and it was hard to settle on just 10, which is why number 2 was a 3-way tie. Those are all of the honorable mentions. I'm sorry if there were too many. Without further ado, let's move on to number 1. And finally, number 1, my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic is Mangle. You may have guessed this, since Mangle is used for my channel's icon. There are several reasons why Mangle is my favorite animatronic. Number 1, I really like her design. It looks very interesting and very horrifying to see her twisted and broken into an absolute tangle of parts. The colors on her mask are also very nice, and her second head looks creepy as it watches Mangle's movements. Number 2, she is a somewhat sympathetic animatronic. After hearing Mangle's backstory that she was constantly torn apart by children,
they tried to remake Foxy, you know? They thought the first one was too scary, so they redesigned them to be more kid-friendly and put them in Kids Cove to keep the toddlers entertained, you know? But kids these days just can't keep their hands to themselves. The staff literally had to put Foxy back together into every shift. Eventually they just stopped trying and left him as some kind of take apart, put back together attraction. Now he's just a mess of parts. I think the employees refer to him as just the Mangle.
You may start to feel sorry for her, as her occupation sounds very torturous and may justify her actions. Number 3, she is the likeliest suspect for the bite of 87. I think that Mangle is the likeliest suspect because, unlike the other two main suspects, Freddy and Foxy, Mangle was very active in the FNEF2 pizzeria and would like the most opportunities to bite a customer. This is also hinted at by her jump scare. Number 4. I think that Mangle is one of the scariest animatronics in the franchise. This is due to her design, the static that plays when she moves around. Her tendency to cling onto walls like a spider, and her jump scare. Number 5. I really like her voice and personality. Mangle's feminine, static-filled voice seems very appropriate due to the debates surrounding her gender.
I wanted to wait until just the right moment to drop in.
In special delivery, it is revealed that Mangle may be traumatized by the events in Kids Cove, and she desires to become whole again.
Why, just staying in one piece feels like a full-time job.
And finally, I enjoyed all of her stages in Help Wanted, them being her vent repair stage and Build-A-Mangle. All of these reasons are what make Mangle my favorite animatronic in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Thank you for watching my video, and once again, a massive thank you to all of my subscribers for helping me reach 200 subscribers. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and I have plans to do similar videos to this in the future. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you would like to be notified about in my later videos. Thank you for watching.